The job interview. It feels like this high-stakes performance, right? Where every little thing you say or do is under a microscope. But what if you could walk into that room feeling not just ready, but totally confident? Well, today, we're going to break down the playbook for turning that interview stress into a winning impression. Let's dive in.
So it really all comes down to this one question. Because making a great impression, it's not just about what's on your resume, right? It's about how you show your value from the very first hello. So, how do you make every moment, from that first handshake to the final question, really work in your favor?
You know, what's really interesting is that rejection often isn't about some huge, catastrophic mistake. It's usually about the little things a candidate didn't do. For example, being even a few minutes late. To an interviewer, that's not just a small slip-up, it can be a red flag about your commitment. It's these tiny details that scream professionalism, and if you overlook them, your chances might be over before the real interview even begins.
And that leads us right into our first big topic, preparation. Look, a killer interview performance doesn't just happen in the waiting room. Nope, it starts days, maybe even weeks before. This is the groundwork, the stuff you do behind the scenes that builds the foundation for real confidence. A successful interview is really built on 4 key pillars. First, you've got to look inward. You have to know yourself, your skills, your weaknesses, your story. Then you look outward and research the company. What's their mission? What's their culture like? And the last 2 steps are all about getting ready for game time. Mental prep to get your head in the right space, and physical prep, which is everything from picking your outfit to, seriously, getting a good night's sleep. Each one is just as important as the next. Okay, so you're prepared, but prepared for what exactly? Not all interviews are the same. In fact, knowing the type of interview you're walking into is a huge strategic advantage. Let's take a look at a few of the most common ones. First up, you've got the classic, the traditional one-on-one. Here, yeah, they're checking your qualifications, but your main goal is to build a real connection. They're asking themselves, do I actually want to work with this person every single day? So you want to be friendly, try to match their energy, and really show them how you'd fit in.
Next up, the telephone interview. And please, do not underestimate this one. It's usually the first filter, so you have to treat it just as seriously as you would a face-to-face meeting. Find a quiet spot, have your resume right there in front of you, and here's a little pro tip: try standing up and even smiling while you talk. It sounds weird, I know, but it genuinely boosts the energy in your voice and keeps you from sounding monotone.
And then we have the group interview. This one's basically designed to see how you handle pressure and how you play with others. The trick here is to stand out, but without shutting everyone else down. You want to be confident for sure, but also be a collaborator. Listen to what others say, make eye contact with everybody in the room, and show that you're someone who can make a team better.
So you've done your homework, you know the format, and now it's game day. But you got to remember this: the interview doesn't start when you sit down in that chair. It starts the second you walk through the front door. Every single person you interact with, they're all part of the evaluation.
Think of this as your checklist for nailing those first 30 seconds. Be incredibly courteous to everyone, especially the receptionist. Trust me, their opinion often gets passed along. When your interviewer comes out to greet you, stand up. That's a huge sign of respect. And of course, the basics: a firm handshake, good eye contact, and a real smile. It all projects confidence from the get-go.
And look, this is how simple and effective your introduction at the front desk should be. It's direct, it's professional, and it tells them everything they need to know. No fumbling around, no uncertainty, just memorize a version of this that works for you. All right, now for the moment of truth. You're in the room, you've shaken hands, and then it comes the most common, the most open-ended, and maybe the most dreaded first question in any interview. How you answer this sets the entire tone. There it is. So, how do you respond? You don't want to ramble for 10 minutes, but you also don't want to just awkwardly list things from your resume. The answer is to have a specific tool ready to go: your elevator pitch. The elevator pitch is basically your secret weapon. It's a powerful, maybe 60-second summary of your professional story. In that short time, you need to hit 3 key things. Who are you, professionally speaking? What are your most important skills and accomplishments? And what are you looking to do next?
And this is a perfect example of what a great pitch sounds like. See? It starts with a relevant background, the degree. It gives a concrete example of experience working on the newspaper, and it finishes with a super clear goal: finding a job to use those specific skills. It's sharp, it's relevant, and it sounds confident. But listen, the words are only half the story. How you deliver your pitch is just as crucial. You want to be concise and confident, not rambling on in a monotone voice.
A smile and a few natural gestures help you connect with the person. But if you're frowning or talking a mile a minute, you just come across as nervous. You gotta practice it until it sounds less like a script and more like your actual story.
As you go through the rest of the interview, keep these final goals in mind with every answer. You're there to connect on a personal level, to prove you have the skills for the job, and to sell yourself as the solution to their problem. And to make your skills feel real, always have specific examples ready. A great way to structure them is the STAR method. Describe the situation, the task, the action you took, and the result. It turns a claim into a powerful little story. At the end of the day, an interview is your chance to tell your professional story. It's about mixing all that preparation with your personality to show not just what you've done, but who you are and what you can bring to the table. We've laid out the framework. The rest, well, that's up to you. Your story is unique. Are you ready to tell it?